All right, recap time. It's Monday. Lions won yesterday, 17-3 in Minnesota, uh, which is pretty impressive, seeing that that's the only the second time we beat them. I think in the last 20 tries or something like that, 20 years, I don't know. And we did it without Calvin and Reggie. They were both technically game time decisions, but no one really expected them to play either one of them. So they both did not play. Lions still won, which is the first time that under Stafford that they've won a game without Calvin. The other big key, only the real injury that was that big for Detroit during the game is Theo Riddick went back down with he re-injured his hamstring in the third, which I think hampered the offense a lot. If you watch the first half, he had a ton of carries, or a ton of just touches. I think he had a couple carries, a couple long screen plays, a touchdown. He was the focal point of the offense, and it showed when he went down. The offense really bogged down. So, which is good news. I mean, the guy was a 6th round draft pick last year. For him to be able to contribute like that, pretty much playing the Reggie Bush role, is good for the future for when Bush is gone. So, 17-3, tough road win. By score, I say tough. Really, the game was never in doubt. Everyone, it almost feels like they lost the game because, you think they should have won, by 20 or 25, something like that, just to how dominant the defense was. But just want to get into Stafford real quick. I went at it yesterday and a little bit today with people talking about how Stafford isn't very good and this team would be so much farther along if we had a better quarterback, or if Stafford was any good. And it's ridiculous. You win a game by 14 on the road against a division rival, and what fans want to talk about is how bad our quarterback played when he had 0 turnovers, 4 drops against him, 4 sacks, at least 2 hurries that I went back and watched every offensive play. He escaped two would have been sacks and threw the ball away, so that's 2 more incompletions. So yeah, his completion percentage was low at 57, but the winds were howling. Matt Prater missed 2 field goals, so that shows how bad the wind was. Guy's accurate. So wind was blowing. I mean, they had that many drops, all that kind of stuff. They had a lot of second and third and longs because of penalties. So Stafford, in years past, would have a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, and people would just say, oh yeah, but the turnovers. He's having a lot of turnovers. We need to stop the turnovers if we just win, and we don't need to see all these big numbers. Now that he won the game and held the ball. Really, there was only maybe one that was even semi-close to being intercepted. It's not like it was one of the games where it should have been 3 or 4 picks and they just weren't caught. I mean, one tipped off a guy's hand, but it would have had to been the perfect tip for him to be able to catch it. So I think he had a good game. I must have completely watched a different game. Even going back and watching it, he may have had maybe 3 bad throws, and even those throws they were bad, but at least they were in spots where no one had a chance to catch it. Where he underthrew a guy or he overthrew a guy out of bounds. So I think Stafford had a really good game. I think they were efficient with the pieces that were out during the game. I think he played really well. So, like I said, we missed 2 more field goals. I think they said, I saw something, it's the first team, I don't know if it's ever or this year, I don't know. They've missed 10 field goals this year. They said no one missed 10 field goals all of last season, and we've missed 10 in 6 games. So, everyone's crying about our scoring, our lack of scoring. Well, that's, 30 points right there. That could have been, even half of that's 15 points that could be added to the total. So hopefully this week at home in the Dome, Prater won't miss 2 more. So I got to give a whole little segment here to the defense. I mean, just insane. I kind of thought that this is what it should be this year, with Sue and Fairley being on contract years. They're finally playing up to their potential. I don't think it's a coincidence, but I'll take it for 1 year. Even if it meant all the years past of potential. Guys having potential to do this. They finally put it together, and they've just been insane. I think we sacked Teddy 8 times yesterday. He was a complete non-factor. Basically what I thought. A rookie quarterback with not that many weapons, no run game, going against the #1 defense, and he looked like a rookie. I mean, it's not like he looked bad. He looked like a rookie. He had 3 picks. I think one of them was tipped. One was a bad one in the red zone. And, all the people saying, oh, we're going to lose because of Teddy Bridgewater. And, it was like, look at that. That's exactly what I was saying. If we didn't have such a good defense right now, I wouldn't have said what I said. But the fact that they are #1 with all the sacks that we've gotten, all the turnovers we've gotten, there's no way a rookie quarterback is going to look good against a team like that. So, like I said, the defense it's hard to put into words the amount of injuries that we've had. We lost our middle linebacker, lost 2 nickel corners, and we didn't have our starting strong safety for the first 2 games, and they've still been, #1 in total defense, #1 in scoring defense. Even with all, how bad our offense has been, and people have been saying, defense has not given up any points, even if they've been on the field a lot. They're #2 in pass and rushing yards per game. So, sometimes you'll see, oh, well, they're really good against the run, but they, just like the Lions last year. Lions had a dominant run defense last year, so teams were like, all right, we just won't run as much, We'll just pass it because they can't stop anybody, and they, because we couldn't rush the passer like we can this year. So there's really nothing offenses can do. When you're good on both ends, what do you do as an offense? And so defense is just crazy. It's fun to watch. I love it. I think they said they're giving up 0.1 yard more per game or per play than Seattle did last year. So we're on par with Seattle's defense last year, and we have a better offense than they had. So as long as we can keep this going, looking at the schedule ahead, we should roll up a bunch of wins here. Going back to my prediction, I said the 3 keys of the win were the run game, to limit big plays, and ball distribution. I think Joique Bell coming in provided just enough of a run to be effective. I don't think it was, obviously he didn't roll up 100 and some yards and 2 touchdowns or anything, but it was just enough. The screen game was insane. Finally, I'm a big fan of screen plays, so it was nice to see it working. Limit big plays. I mean, that's exactly what we did. That defensive line just stopped any chance of any big plays. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any play that was longer than maybe 20 yards for Minnesota yesterday. It was just, that defense was suffocating. And then ball distribution. I think he threw to Ebron 3 or 4 times. He threw to Corey Fuller 4 or 5 times. He threw to Jeremy Ross a couple times. And then all of his other attempts were to, and obviously he had a couple of the backs. But I think half of the, Golden Tate had like 10 or 11 targets. A lot of people were crying about Stafford and saying that, Calvin's gone and Stafford still locks on to one guy. But, it's not like he threw any picks, and it was working. Tate had at least 2 drops that I counted. So he didn't have a banner day for his standards. But my prediction was 24-13. It was 17-3, so we won by more than I thought, and that was kind of a conservative score, picking 24-13. I thought it was going to be a blowout, and it was yesterday. The score may not have shown, but it was a blowout. Obviously, if you watch the game, you know that it was really more than a 14-point victory. That field goal came, I think, with like 4 minutes left in the game, and we missed 2 field goals. So, that's basically it on that. That's a wrap up for yesterday. Great road win. You know, in the division, defense played amazing, and it's basically like stealing a game since we didn't have Reggie and Calvin. We got them rest, and we still won the game. So this week, next up for the Lions, we got New Orleans coming to town, rested up after their bye. Right before their game, like their last game against Tampa Bay, Jimmy Graham hurt his shoulder. He is out 3 to 4 weeks, so he will not be ready to go this week against the Lions. So we'll be able to go against New Orleans, who's already struggling. They're 2-4. They're struggling on offense. They're really, really bad on defense, and they're without their biggest weapon on offense. So as long as we can get to Drew Brees, you know, we should, just like we've done with every other quarterback we've played against this year, you know, it should be another fun day. If we can get if the offense can get rolling, you know, and we make a couple field goals, you know, and it doesn't, I think it kind of bogs down mentally when, you know, when the kicker misses one, everyone's like, here we go again. So we can make a couple, hopefully get more touchdowns against that porous defense that the Saints have. If the freaking O-line can block someone. Stafford got sacked another 4 times last week. So that's the biggest storyline with Jimmy Graham. The other one, Caldwell came out today and said that he's not ruling out Calvin being held out until after the bye, which if you watch the video from last week, from my prediction video, that's exactly what I said. I said I'm pretty sure that I think that he'll be out until after the bye, especially since the next 2 games are against you know, horrible defenses. I think he sits this week. Since we won yesterday, I think he sits this week. Depending on how the team does against the Saints, I think that'll be depending on how if he plays next week. If we win another big game, then I think it won't matter. I think he'll sit out until after the bye against Miami. Division, the other teams in the division, Green Bay won 27-24. They needed a last-second touchdown over Miami to win the game. That was just stupid. Rodgers had a fake spike. The guy would have been tackled in bounds. Game would have been over, but he let him run out of bounds. So they had one last chance, and you know, got the touchdown with I think 3 seconds to go. So they won. Chicago also won. They went into Atlanta, a game where I thought that Chicago would get rolled because Atlanta at home is really good, and it was the opposite. Chicago rolled Atlanta. So, you know, I don't know if that's really Chicago, you know, figuring out this was just 1 week. I mean, they've looked bad for 2 weeks now, or 3 weeks. I think they started 2-1 and are now 3-3. So that's basically the division standings. Lions are still in front. They're tied with Green Bay, but have the tiebreaker since not only did they beat Green Bay, but they are undefeated in the division right now, while Green Bay has a loss. And so we're both 4-2. Chicago's 3-3, and Minnesota's at the bottom at 2-4 and 0-2 in the division. So that's basically a Detroit Lions and NFC North recap of Week 6. We'll be back again on Friday to review the Lions Saints game, and like I said, it should be fun. Hopefully, we'll get some news this week on Calvin practices or whatnot. But I'm saying it here that I don't think he plays until after the bye. So unless something else comes up, this whole Stafford thing's really getting to me. Just looking at the numbers and watching him play, I get that he needs to play better. Everyone can play better. The whole offense, there's no one that's really playing out of his mind. So everyone on that offense can play better, and he can play better. But it's not like he's out there throwing 3 picks a game, and costing the team victories. So, and him, he's only got 4 interceptions. 2 were in 1 game. So that's basically it. He's our quarterback, whether you guys like it or not. If you like him, then you're like me. You think that he's a damn good quarterback who has a crazy ceiling and he can only get better. If you don't like him, then it doesn't really matter what he does. It doesn't matter what stats you look at. You're going to think he sucks. That's that's the starting quarterback in Detroit, and it's how it always has been. So that's it. Everybody go Lions, and I'll see you Friday.